Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we've got none other than Mr. Cornelius Oguntola Melvin Deveaux, the National Publicity Secretary of the All People's Congress, right here with me online now. So, without further ado, we've gone deep into the time. I want to go straight into your recent outing. Will you please tell the public right now who are listening to you, the listening public, what was this outing all about, sir?
Well, the purpose of the outing, good evening, first of all, to my listeners, and good evening to you. In a nutshell, the purpose of our outing was an act on the recommendation of a 9-man committee which the party has set up to look into what went wrong to our loss of the presidential elections in March. And one of the recommendations was that we should promote peace and reconciliation within the party. And part of our effort to promote peace and reconciliation, we decided to organize an outing at the East on December 8th. And at that outing, many people turned out, and we were very much satisfied with the turnout. And the turnout included former flag bearers and also the 2018 presidential candidate and also our national chairman and leader. In essence, the outing was a success because we were able to mobilize and muster the kind of support which goes to show that the APC is still a popular and a well-accepted party by the vast majority of the people of this country. So the party, the outing has set the pace for national reconciliation within the party, and we are moving on with that pace. As it is now, as I speak to you, I am at the party office. That was why you could have been hearing some noise in the background, but I have safely located myself into a quiet place to talk to you guys.
I want to press you a little bit more, but let me just highlight a statement that you just made, in which you just said, like, the APC has got the largest support, in terms of the entire country. But looking at that teeming crowd, which could have included even members of the opposition party, because it was a joyous occasion, you cannot for sure say that all the people that attended this event were APCs.
Certainly, we remain very much convinced that we command the support of the majority of the people. If you look at the last election result, the fact that APC has more than 55% of members of parliament who are representatives of the people, and also APC controls more than 55% of the local councils across the country, it goes to show that the APC remains to be the popular party. But again, it underscores our concern that the presidential election was rigged in favor of the current president, because we know for sure that the voting pattern of the people of this country is such that where they cast their ballot for the councillor, they also cast their ballot for the president, the member of parliament, and even their district council or local council chairperson or mayor. So we remain very much convinced that because we were able to muster the support of the vast majority of the people, by having the majority of members of parliament, we believe that we will going to be the most popular party. And our event on December 8th, which was the peace outing, demonstrated that. I want to be very safe and comfortable to tell you that no member of the opposition attended that occasion, because it was clearly an APC event, and considering the fact that the opposition had endeavored to throw spanners into the world by spreading misinformation that the event was going to be characterized by violence so that people will not go to the event. People defend their misinformation, and many people went to the event, even with circumstances where the transportation we provided did not reach them, people endeavor to pay their own price first and they participate very individually.
Yeah, Mr. Deveaux, I'm not going to let you go. I still want to press you on. I've got 1 or 2 more questions on this particular December 8th meeting, because according to you, I watched your timeline in which you describe it. Of course, you've said it here that it was a success. You describe it as an epoch event. Of course, many people will agree with that, because it's almost like you are looking at the real timeline in a historical setting. But everyone knows empirical studies, data, statistics points to Freetown as APC. APC is Freetown, Freetown is APC. The SLPP has never been good in Freetown. So how can you use, the turning out in Freetown, an event organized in Freetown, as the epoch event that represents the entire country, as the APC being the most popular party?
Well, I want to let you know, and I want to also let listeners in the diaspora know that that event was attended not just by people in the Western area. We had delegation coming from Cornell, from Cornelius, from Noko, from Bali, and as far as Cameroon. So this goes to show that the event was truly what we call an ambassador, meaning that everybody, the all walks of life, gathered together in a common objective. And that common objective was for us to reconcile, for us to reminisce, for us to explore, and for us to see, let's forget about what went wrong, and let us start ahead so that 2022 will be able to return our previous power.
Okay, Mr. Melvin, there are many reports, both within and without, which is saying that the organization around the December 8th outing or peace meeting was simply, that of the former president Ernest Bai Koroma. Although the theme was making peace, but still the leadership or former leadership, those that constructed, that you will find around the construct of flag bearers in the last general elections, are still aggrieved. If this meeting, this beach outing, was for making peace among the so-called aggrieved, former flag bearers, then that fell short of the expectation. Would you agree, sir?
Well, no, it does. I let me speak directly to this former flag bearers, some of this new, and probably their supporters. When an event where you have 28 people, of course, it is obvious that one person is going to emerge a successor. And if at the end of the day, all of the flag bearers, according to the National Publicity report, agree to give up the responsibility of choosing a flag bearer, and at the end of the day, NAC also, with limits to the effect, agree that the national chairman and the former president should choose the successor, then that choice will not be an issue of controversy, because we have already relegated the authority to choose from amongst themselves one person to NAC, and NAC also relegated that authority to the national chairman and leader. So we are saying now, all that happened, we put it in the past. And that is why NAC also recommended a review of the 1995 December Party Constitution, so as to ensure that all of the concerns and views of people that were elicited during their outreach in terms of finding out what went wrong in the presidential election and why we lost the presidential election. We believe that a review of the party constitution is very much significant in ensuring that we address those of the gray areas that some members consider to be an anomaly and an hindrance to the practice of democracy within our party.
One final question on this, Mr. Deveaux, will be, of course, the December 8th meeting was to make peace, was an olive branch from the party, here within itself. But with most of the leadership outside of the country, in Europe, in North America, and other parts of the world, how do we really realistically call this a peace meeting?
Well, I wonder why you say most of our leadership is outside of the country.
Yeah, but Mr. Deveaux, when I say leadership, I'm talking about the aggrieved ones, because I'm sure we will agree that there are aggrieved parties.
Let me.
Okay, sir.
Our national chairman and leader is here. Our deputy chairman and leader is here. The secretary general is here. Myself as publicity secretary and here. The national organizing secretary is here. And the national treasurer is here. Yes, certainly, we have some constituent that are out of the country, like the Western Region chairman, and party out of the country. And I think he is the only person in terms of the regional chairman that is out of the country. So therefore, it is not to see that the leadership is out of the country. And let me also hasten to see that those who aspire to be flag bearers are not necessarily part of the leadership of the party. Because the right for you to aspire for any position within the party is a bona fide right of every member of the party that is fully freedom, which means to say that anybody can come up to you and say, I want to be flag bearer of the APC, as long as you are a registered member and you are a fully paid member. It does not necessarily mean that you have to be part of the National Executive Committee as per the 1995 Constitution, which consists of the national officer and the regional chairman and also district chairman and district secretary, or rather NAC, which also consists of the national chairman and national chairman, regional chairman, and selected and appointed members from across the country. So, being a flag bearer does not necessarily mean that you are part of the leadership of the party. However, you must have attained an esteemed position within the party for you to consider yourself a flag bearer. And that is why, in the ongoing constitutional process, we are beginning to receive concerns from the vast majority of our membership as to who is eligible to become a flag bearer or to aspire for a flag bearer, and who is eligible to even be elected into constituency, district, and regional and national executive of the party.
Thank you for the clarification, but that was quite telling. But I need to make progress, sir. The fact of the matter here is, having made the clarification, yes, I was alluding to the many, former flag bearers who are scattered all over the globe. And obviously, these are heavy stakeholders within the party. And if the party is trying to make peace within itself, these are people, who are the very components, of the party that are supposed to be on the table so that the party can be able to make progress. But I thank you for the clarification. I want to move on to something else, that there are many people purportedly that are speaking for the APC party on social media today. Some of them are doing great good for the party, and some of them are not. They are causing great damage to your party, the great All People's Congress Party. One of them, such persons I'm going to name, I'm going to go away from our usual norms, is Mr. Jibril Bangura, who's been making statements, here lately, and some of them, here are quite telling as well. He recently made a statement supposedly speaking for the APC. Two quick questions on that, Mr. Deveaux. Does Jibril Bangura speak for the APC? And two, some of the pronouncements that Mr. Bangura has been making, does he sit well with the party? Are you comfortable with his recent utterances?
Well, thank you very much. Let me first of all make it clear that as a result of mobile and internet communication, Carolinians have made it a norm to access information via social media, because not all of them can access television service. not all of them can buy all of the newspapers that are coming out on a daily basis. But because we can have access to a mobile phone and we only need to pay for their data and then they have access to social media where we can also have access to the views and opinions of Sierra Leoneans from across the globe. And it is also important for us to know that in recent times, if you look at the penetration of ICT in Sierra Leone, we come to realize that ICT, the credit on your card is low.
Mr. Deveaux, I'm not cutting you off, sir. The line might cut off at any moment, but in a minute or two, I'm going to call you right back, and then I'm going to call you right back if it does cut off.
All right, sir.
Go on, please.
Okay, good. So, what I was saying that we have had a penetration of internet, and people who can have access to mobile phone can also have access to internet service, and therefore, because you cannot have the credit on your card is low, we have resorted to the social media as a principal source of information. But we must also know that the introduction of the social, or the emergence of the social media, I beg your pardon, the emergence of the social media.
Your card is now expired. The call center has hung up. Thank you for using the We Queue For You service. If we have helped you to get through more easily, please tell your friends about our...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was just the first part of the interview between the then and now. I'm your host and presenter, Prince Emil Kroma, coming to you today, the 19th of December, just 6 days shy of this wonderful day called Christmas. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's Mr. Cornelius calling me right back. This is serious. Yes, Mr. Deveaux.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, go on, sir. You are live, sir. Go on, sir.
The emergence of social media has also given rise on citizens' journalism.
Yeah.
Which means that every citizen now of the world is taking advantage of the social media as a platform to express his or her issues of concern and of particular to their country. So, without intent to compromise of the as a citizen of Sierra Leone, express national concern, I want to say that the APC, as a political institution, has established means of communication. That is not to say, if members of APC decide to express their views on any form of media, we are going to go out. No, because fundamental express their opinion, any media to do so.
Yeah, but Mr. Deveaux, let me take you on this, sir. Of course, some of the things that will have been said or that is being said on social media might be in favor of you or the party as a whole. But some of them are toxic. I'm not pointing fingers directly as Mr. Bangura. I just used him as an example. But sure enough, when some things are being said which are not within the norms of social civilization, even though you've got access to social media or phone and the rest of it, sure enough, there is a line that can be drawn. And if it's been spoken in behalf of your party and it's not in line with the ethics of the party, then the party is meant to come out and disavow the particular individual or individuals that are making statements which are not compatible with the principles of the party?
Well, the compatibility of people's statement with that of the party is not something that I would want to discuss on, because not to respect the rights of any being a member of the party, even an ordinary to ease of our opinion. And I am very much certain that an individual that is discriminated or defamatory of another person, that person has ultimate privilege, just culture.
Yeah.
If nobody has ever dared seek redress of the comments the Bangura has been making, which you, in your opinion, have to be toxic, wanting to rest in the graveyard and rest.
Okay, Mr. Deveaux. It's this particular thing that I want to speak to. It's not only about Mr. Bangura. Okay, Mr. Bangura is articulating his view as a citizen of the Republic, as a concerned citizen of the Republic, and as a member of your party. So I was just saying, when it goes offline, or when anybody, not him in particular, goes offline, then obviously the party, will rein in such person, because I'm sure there are principles that the party, stands for. But let me say this quickly, within the same view. It's like the cartooning of the leadership of the country. You see, no one monopolizes the cartooning of the leadership of the country. Some of the cartoons that we have seen is quite distasteful, and all this does is provoke your international attention to look at us as a people and as citizens of that country in a negative view. And whilst no one holds the monopoly over cartooning, they keep cartooning the leadership, the present leadership. So what the present leadership can do is use their own minions to equally cartoon the APC's leadership. And it becomes, like a fun box. Is this going to stop? Will you speak to this, please, Mr. Deveaux?
Well, certainly, cartoon is part of the community. And obviously, taking Donald Trump cartoon in ridiculous manner. So cartoon is a political propaganda, and I think that if any citizen, member of the party, express his or political opinion on issues of national in the way he or she thinks and proper portray or convey we as a party hold no grudge against that.
Yeah, Mr. Deveaux, I'm going to interject right there, sir. I am for cartooning, but you mentioned Donald Trump. I mean, there are everything that we do. You have got lines. That you can't go beyond the bounds. So I am for cartooning. It's not like I'm against it, but I'm sure, sir, that you would not like to see your leader, the former president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, is excellent. I mean, the former leader, Ernest Bai Koroma, cartoon in a sense in which he is naked. Would you like to see that, sir?
Hello?
Yes. Are you hearing me, sir? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. The question I was asking. Let me just repeat myself, Mr. Deveaux. I am for cartooning. Okay, I'm not against it. I'm for political satire. I'm for political humor. Recently, I had a problem with somebody on mainstream, not mainstream media, but on social media. He did not get, my humor that I was trying to, point out to, which was somebody was trying to be provocative about the crowd that you drew in terms of the December 8th meeting. So I put out a cartoon and make mention of the cartoon saying, look at the crowd. Probably they are going to be saying again that APC paid these people to appear. Straight away, I got heated by APCers because they did not get the humor inside it. So I am for cartoon. But what I'm saying, even cartoon has got a line. You mentioned Donald Trump. My question here is, whilst we are for cartooning, your political satire, political humor, would you like to see the former leader of the Republic, Ernest Bai Koroma, cartoon in a sense that the former president is naked? Would you like to see that?
Well, we in the APC, we are not things. We know that. Considering the type of people are playing, people can go to such a step. Therefore, a cartoon depicting His Excellency, the President, will not be as any form of, because to justify that a actor of a living at one time could depend on a leader white as having on was also a question asking what color was today that individual is among the rank and file the membership of the party, and that individual is prominent in promoting the ideas of. So it underscores to them of we in the APC, our leaders.
Yeah.
So what I would say, while some cartoon,
yep,
offensive,
yep,
if it is not me, I will take no offense for that.
Okay.
And if it is me, if I feel agree, there are provisions by which I can say yes.
Yes, sir.
And if I feel yes, it is obvious. Cartoon that will be speaking to the reality. Don't forget.
Hello.
Yeah, because don't forget.
Yep.
That cartoon is one way of conveying information. So, if I choose to an individual choose to explain his or her own views through cartoon, as a party, we express our own views through authentic official communication from the National Publicity. And as a party, we have no right whatsoever to question the exercise of an individual's fundamental right to free expression.
But yeah, Mr. Deveaux, there's a line, sir, and I'm sure this is something that you would like to look into. So whilst people have got their rights to free expression, but there is an end to where something else starts. For example, if somebody were using your party's name in a distasteful, unappreciated, unacceptable manner, sure enough, the party will come and call a line, say, no, you can't cross this line. In other words, there's a red line that people cannot cross. So all I was trying to say, there are ramifications, you know, yeah, to the defacing of public officials, which we would like to look at as humor. But when somebody else does it to the other side, it becomes, you know, yeah, like laughable. You find out that the fun or the irony of it all is no longer acceptable in a civilized society. And this is what I was trying to say. I do respect people's opinion. But let me move on, Mr. Cornelius. You visited, of course, this is a couple of days ago, I believe 2 or 3 days ago, that the Labour Congress members were detained by the National Police of Sierra Leone. And you, along with other heavyweights of the All People's Congress, made a visit to these detained Labour members and managed to secure their release. But whilst it was celebrated as if they had been released, they were only released on bail, and the bail had conditions. What were these conditions, and what is the state today of these Labour Union leaders that were detained as we speak, please?
Well, first of all, let me establish the fact that apart from the clamor for independence before elections, the foundation of the APC was laid after the 1958 national strike, of which our former founder and leader, Dr. Shaka was a key leader. So the APC was not just founded on the clamor for election before its failure, but also to protect and promote the rights of workers. So we have had that labor team since our foundation. That is why when we were informed by a notice on social media by Lawrence Reports that the Secretary General of the Labour Congress, that some of their members had been incarcerated by the PID, and also we learned that all efforts to bring them at time, especially efforts from the International Labour Union, who wrote a letter to the Excellency President, demanding their immediate release, the immediate release of the detained leaders from CID. During this time, we decided to pay a visit to these detained leaders. And when we visited them, we were informed by them that there were a lot of deception on the part of the Sahara Police, the council, leading them to CID. They were first of all told that they were going to be kept for safe custody, and later on, they were told that they were being detained. When we went to CID, myself, together with the National Secretary General of the party, alongside the Deputy National Liberal and Medyo Kaikai, so also accompanied by the editor of the Union newspaper, Winter and Kanye. We are informed that the state persons that all efforts by families and even their solicitors to do well have proved futile. And when we inquire from the CID as to what circumstances were they being in, the CID told us that we should contact the Central Police Station and that they were only holding these people for safe custody on the orders and instructions of the Central Police Station. And we went to the Central Police Station and we met the officer doing a crime investigation, a man called Shalom. And he told us that they will not speak to us until we are consulted with the superiors. After consulting with the superiors, at exactly 6:45, we made a call to our National Secretary General and asked him that the police had decided to release the people on bail and that he should call an eminent personality of the society to take this into account. But at the time, the National Secretary General said, which it was except the secretary of the Labour Congress and already signed the paper at this particular today. But the point you are making is that if after all efforts from the Labour Congress to their solicitors, that means that in terms of the same person, and even the international people moved inside to secure their pay. And it was only after these people and also the same practices that we were granted pay. It goes to show that it was only after the APC intervened that they were granted. And you should also note that they were granted to these people after 7 years' time. It is very unusual for them to be granted to personalities in this country before 6 years, or after 6 years. And if they were granted after 7 years, it goes to show that the SLPP government and the police consider themselves under some high-handed pressure from the police. And that is why they decided to grant to these Labour leaders. But this is not in any way to say that the APC has any influence over these Labour leaders. It is very much necessary that in such circumstances, opposition political parties will seek the opportunity to identify themselves with victims of human rights violations by this current government. While we were in government, when the Jala lecturers decided to undertake a strike action, the SLPP identified themselves with them. And they did not only identify themselves with them, they went into a kind of marriage. And in that marriage, we saw for the first time in the history of this country an academic staff association of the university, not just supporting the campaign of a particular presidential candidate, but also financing the campaign of a presidential particular candidate. And that is why, at the end of the day, when SLPP won the elections, we have seen that quite a good number of people who were at the end of the academic strike accusation of the language practice have been made ministers, and so it is wrong for anybody to postulate that the APC's intervention in the detained Labour leaders' crisis was for political needs.
Mr. Deveaux, of course, you made a brilliant point, but this is at the core of at the very core of the matter, which is making your party members, according to reports, very, very disillusioned, because these are issues that could have been handled in Parliament. And this is what we are hearing, that despite you being the largest party in Parliament, in which issues of this nature can be handled, can be protested by your members, yet you appear not to be doing the task for which the people elected you in Parliament. You are the largest party in Parliament. How are you holding, or how do you plan to hold this government to task, in spite of all this reporting of unrest and protest, arbitrary arrest, and some of it as you've categorized it?
Well, our members of Parliament have been doing this job, for which I want to use this opportunity to come back to that. Let me also say that some of the things that these governments are doing, we not only as a party rely on our members of Parliament to promote advocacy of our views. As an executive of the party, we also have the responsibility to advocate on what we think is right for the people of this country. And that action of going to visit with the Labour leaders is part of our advocacy for people to understand that when the APC was in power, we concerned so much about the conditions of workers. That is why we were able to increase the salary, the minimum wage from 21,000 So 500,000 rooms. And that is why in our manifesto, 2018 manifesto, we did promise people that if we are elected, Kamara was elected as president, we are going to provide them a living wage. And if the people of this country consider that, think that the salary, wages, and allowance of the president, the vice president, ministers, deputies, and even ambassadors and the deputies have been increased in the industry, they also should not just benefit from the 5-10% given to them as indicated in the 2018 budget presented by the Minister of Finance. So they think that they deserve something better. And because they see that they deserve something better, they think their fundamental right to express that concern. And if in expressing that concern, the government cannot engage them in dialogue, but the government decides to use intimidating tactics to suppress them, it is our responsibility as an opposition to identify the issues so as to let them recall that we presented an alternative to what we are seeing now. And the people of this country, for some reason, even though the elections remain questionable, decided to vote against what would be voted. And
the credit on your card is low.
So again, Mr.
Then we have an opportunity, we have an obligation to draw the attention to the fact that
okay, again, Mr. Deveaux, I'm gonna lose you soon, but then I'm gonna call you on WhatsApp and we can continue the last segment of this program, if you don't mind. Thanks for addressing that, but that leads me to a question, which is Sierra Leoneans are saying, or mostly the SLPP, to call names, are saying this spate of protest was never witnessed before, especially under your rule. What is the difference now and then? What is it now different than was no? What's the difference now as to then?
Well, the difference now as to then is that we are open and we engage interest groups requiring government concern with regard to their concerns rather than intimidating them. Don't forget that while we are in the midst of fighting the Ebola crisis, medical workers, health workers across the country did initiate a strike action against our government for improved conditions of service. What we did was, instead of intimidating them, instead of having the police to arrest their leaders, or having the police to invite them to a meeting, our Minister of Labour then engaged them in a constructive dialogue where, at the end of the day, we were able to meet as a consensus. What we are seeing today is a situation where the government has refused to engage these striking interest groups to ensure that their views and concerns are taken into due consideration. So the difference is we were able to engage, but to say that people agitating and striking and protesting for increased or improved welfare conditions of service is a novelty, is totally new. This happened during our own time. But like I said, we were able to engage these concerned interest groups in a constructive dialogue, unlike what is obtaining now, where the government seeks to intimidate these people rather than engaging them in a constructive dialogue.
All right, thank you. The ACC, with all purpose and intent, is set to deal you a fatal blow beginning January, sir. Will you be able to tell the general public as we speak today, how prepared are you in terms of defense for your very survival?
Well, we are not just fighting for our survival, because our concern as a political party is to ensure that, in accordance with constitutional provisions, we shape and contribute towards the national, cultural, economic, social, etc. aspirations of the people of this country. We are not just a political party registered to provide, promote, and support candidates for parliamentary, presidential, and local council elections. We are very much concerned of our constitutional obligation as a principal watchdog of the current government and also an alternative to the existing policies and programs being pursued by this current government. So that is why we believe that we will use our parliamentary majority where necessary to bring up, oppose, and defend issues that we think are of the best interest of these people. And also, our party executive will also endeavor to ensure that we hold the government accountable on issues that are very much political, which we think are not in the best interest of the people of this country. And that is what exactly we have to do. Listeners will recall that when we debated the constitutional instruments of the establishment of the Commission of Inquiry, we were able to bring out the flaws contained in the constitutional instrument. And even though we were unsuccessful to get the two-thirds majority as required by law to annul the document, we were able to secure the vote of the majority of parliamentarians against that document. And to substantiate our concern, the Sahel Bar Association wrote a letter to the Attorney General wherein we stated and brought to the attention of the Attorney General those areas of the constitutional instrument which we think are a violation of the 1991 Constitution and also a violation of the fundamental principles of justice and of the fundamental rights of citizens. And if, as it is now, the Attorney General has not yet responded to the concerns raised by the Bar Association, and we have just heard that government is going to commence the Commission of Inquiry, and they will be spending 6 billion, which we think would be better spent on providing health services, water services, and could be better spent in augmenting their free education program. They are going to spend it on the Commission of Inquiry, which is a violation of certain principles of fundamental principles of our 1991 Constitution. We as a party have advised our members not to cooperate whatsoever with any form of political Commission of Inquiry. We will not subject ourselves to a kangaroo court. And if the SLPP thinks that this is a way we can bring some kind of support to this country, we as a party, we are advising them that while we are are not averse to the establishment of the Commission of Inquiry, we will want to ensure that this Commission of Inquiry conforms with the principles of our Constitution, that this Commission of Inquiry does not violate the rights of citizens, and that this Commission of Inquiry is not intended to victimize a particular set of people. Because if you say that permanent secretaries who are both controllers, who have the responsibility to say yes and no, according to civil service protocols, they are going to be witnesses against ministers and deputies, then obviously we think that it is biased, it is deliberately intended to castrate members of the APC. And we also remember that the late President Sabah, in his statement when he was unveiling the Chinese military bondage presented to this country by the Chinese government, he did say that this current president embezzled $18 million, and also this current president diverted contracts to his brother based on personal interest. And looking at these things, and in consideration also the current anti-corruption law, in consideration also the current anti-corruption law, you will find out that if you want to fight against corruption, even the current president is culpable. And so, for you to say that you are going to leave your corruption fight only to target HC members, that is a deliberate ploy to exterminate from the political landscape some of our preferred leadership. And if that is, if everything intends on doing that, we will resist them for any length that we choose to.
Wow, that's quite powerful, and it sounds to me like obviously the statement speaks for itself. The All People's Congress is going to resist as long as it's not democratic, as long as it's questionable in terms of the Constitution and the law. Let me move on this same thing, Mr. Deveaux, if you don't mind, sir. You have been very critical, as opposed to what you've just said earlier on, of the commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission, which is, you've gone as far as saying you're shocked that he's not even okran to the fact of how the paperwork looks like, boxes that need to be ticked, or what is on the box that he's supposed to know, which came as a surprise to you, because as the commissioner, you expected him to know this, okay? You also went on to ask questions, some negative things like the commissioner have said, and proclamations that they've made without submitting evidence to that effect, money that they've gathered, and there's no evidence to that effect. What more can you say to that, Mr. Deveaux, in terms of what the commissioner or the commission as a whole has been saying with no evidence at all? Will you want to elaborate, sir?
Well, first of all, I want the district public to know that the current ACC boss does not fulfill the requirements to be appointed to that position. There is a controversy within the legal circle that he has not served or been admitted into the bar for 10 years, which is a requirement for you to become the Anti-Corruption Commission. And in recent times, notwithstanding his affirmation to pursue corruption issues without recourse to papers, we saw a letter from no less a person but Charles Magai, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice of this government, who was dismissed in a surreptitious manner, very questionable, claiming that there is an issue of corruption in the Ministry of Lands involving the current Minister of Lands, Tony Sani. And we have not seen the ACC taking the appropriate action, in terms of investigating the claims made by major supporting Mr. Charles Madai. And there are so many other issues of corruption relating to the procurement of textbooks, exercise books, the education program, the Minister of Finance said in the supplementary budget in the parliament that we have paid an advance money to a particular company to provide courses. That payment or that contract did not go through, the established constitutional bidding process. There are so many other issues which, if the Anti-Corruption Commissioner was serious about his job, he would have jumped into in ensuring that the people's money are not wasted and that these gang of rights robbers will not continue to siphon the legal resources of this country into their personal pocket. But we also remain of the conviction that if you want to fight corruption in this country, there are provisions within the APC Act which clearly empowers the APC Commissioner to fight against corruption. For example, the unlawful increase of the salary of the president, the vice president, ministers, deputy ministers, ambassadors, etc. Is an act of corruption because there are provisions in the APC Act which clearly state that if an officer of government takes an action which does not have the full authority of it, it is liable to corruption. And according to our laws, any increase in the salary of the president, the vice president, ministers, and deputies should have to be sanctioned by parliament. And if the Minister of Finance could decide to increase the salary of the president, the vice president, ministers, and deputy ministers, ambassadors, and all, without recourse to parliament, that is an act of corruption. And if the Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Francis Belkampala, was up to his work, I am sure he could have arrested these issues and let the people know that corruption is becoming more, is being ripened. Corruption is being ripened during this era of the SLPP government.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And this goes back to an earlier question regarding the APC being the majority in parliament and how effective that majority is. But this could be something else or a debate for another day. But Mr. Deveaux, we cannot, deal with the issue of the ACC commissioner without talking about their recent, guest of honor or invitee, Professor Lumumba. Shortly before he was invited, there were criticisms from far and near as to, the professor not being relevant and the rest of it, even though some of us, held him in high esteem. But after he spoke, of course, judgment was made before he spoke, but after he did, making statements such as to yesterday's corrupt leaders cannot be the decision makers of today in terms of corruption. Is there a change of mind?
Well, I think there is a change of mind because, like I told you earlier, most of our people have resorted to social media as a principal source of information. So we were expecting to have the full text of Professor Lumumba on social media. But however, for some reason, quite a good number of Sierra Leoneans are yet to access the full text of Professor Lumumba. And what they are having is excerpts. And such excerpts is one that you have just highlighted. And I think if Professor Lumumba actually said that, then he might have taken the wheel on the head. Because if you have a man now as president who during his tenure as a military leader, engaged in acts of corruption to year, the late Ahmed Tijan Kabar, in a statement on the unveiling of the Chinese gunboat, did say that in $9 million into his personal coffers and also gave personal contract to his brother Deveaux, then obviously such people know and say they are a born-again corruption activist. If you want to be a born-again corruption activist, then I think you must start at 2018. But if you want to start before 2018, you must not exclude your own period. Because if you exclude your own period, then you might not be acting as a real born-again. In fact, you might be considered a cheater. So we are, as a party, are saying that our party majority in parliament will continue to use their leverage, to hold government accountable. And we will also, as a party, continue to hold government accountable outside parliament. But in responding to the issue of Professor Melvin, I would want to say that it is rather ominous that the SLPP has decided to withhold the full text of Professor Melvin's statement from the public. And if they have decided to withhold the full text of Professor Melvin's statement, public lecture from the public, it goes to show that Professor Melvin, notwithstanding the criticisms leveled against him with regard to being an academic fraud, etc., but being a broad speaker must have, hit the nail on the head, and that is why the SLPP are very much scared of releasing the full text to the full care of the public.
The issue of grievance within the All People's Congress Party are many. We talked about it at the opening of this program. But another issue is one of the Tusim, that's dual nationality. Is your party ready to take this issue, which left your party so divided, which left others that were affected so disillusioned, some even left the party? Mr. Deveaux, is your party ready to take on this particular issue and address it once and for all?
Yeah, certainly one of the issues brought forward by the National Committee in its investigation and findings, in its report, it did highlight the issue of dual citizenship. And as a party, we have just concluded a kind of understanding with our members of parliament, and we want to believe that in the next 2 distant future, a member of our parliament will move a private member's motion to amend the relevant sections of the 1991 Constitution, which will ensure that people with dual citizenship have the opportunity to participate in the governance of this country. But our members of parliament have been held aback simply because at a workshop or a consultative forum organized by the PTIC recently, one of the resolutions adopted by political party president and also endorsed by the PTIC and some of our stakeholders was that the government should, with immediate effect and as a matter of urgency, move on with the Constitutional Review Committee recommendation. And don't forget that before we reach the end of our tenure, we had a Constitutional Review Committee, and they presented their report, and we also presented a white paper. But it is now up to this current government to either accept or reject our white paper or to come forward with their own white paper. But political parties representatives at a consultative dialogue organized by the PTIC together with our international stakeholders did and asked one of the famous actions of this government to be the implementation of the recommendations of the CRC. And if they go according to the recommendations of the CRC of Justice Kawai, then the issue of dual citizenship will be an issue that will be laid to rest.
Thank you. Another problem also that is apparently affecting the All People's Congress is that of your talisman, the iconic figure, none other than the ex-president Ernest Bai Koroma, who still happens to be the party leadership despite 8-9 months on, when he said he was going to retire from active politics and relinquish, your power in the sense of the party leadership. He is still the party leader, and he still seems to be revering in this. You are very close to Ernest Bai Koroma, okay? When is he going to put his hands up and hand over to other people who apparently could be more popular like him or more than him?
Well, the national chairman and leader did mention at the outing that it was time for the party to have a new leadership. And definitely you will agree with me that after the party had lost the election, if the national chairman and leader had made right his commitment to retire from politics immediately, it would have seen that he was a captain, championship in the midst of a trouble, in the midst of a shipwreck. And no captain will jump ship in the midst of a shipwreck. So therefore, he has decided to hold on to the fence until we conclude our constitutional review process, which will take us to, a national delegates conference at which we will adopt the constitution, following which new officials will be elected in accordance with the new constitution from one constituency, district, regional, and national level. So until then, we will want to say that it was right that the national chairman and leader did not jump ship in the midst of the shipwreck. And we are very much satisfied with the leadership he has provided, and we very much believe that he will live true to his commitment that when we have completed our constitutional review process, we will still. But in accordance with our constitution and in accordance with the desire of the people, people think that whether me or Alex Koroma or Usman Chanel or Tony Kaloko or whoever is to be their leader, and we emerge successful at our next conference. Well, there is no qualms about that.
Well, all of that seems to be, here like questionable statements and conditional statements, because within the rank and file of the party itself, it's no secret that there is a kind of a turbulence, if you like. And this has given rise to people like those that associate themselves with the new reform movement. Mr. Deveaux, what is the new reform movement within the APC? How do you intend to address this new reform movement?
Well, I want to restrain myself from speaking of the NIM because we are not an ultimate group of the party. While I agree with you that members of the NIM, predominantly members of the youth, but the NIM itself is not an ultimate body of the party. But however, what the NIM has been arguing is the issue of the selection clause within the party constitution. My take on that is that if you think that the selection clause is the only problem or the most problematic clause in the 1995 December Constitution of the APC, then it shows that your understanding of the constitutional problems of the APC are shallow, because I want to tell you that it is not now that the rank and file of this party had realized that the 5th December 1995 Constitution is problematic. We realized that about it was a Supreme Court decision in 2002. Don't forget that today another spoke against the Corona support, and it was a Supreme Court decision that, told the APC to continue to use the 5th December 1995 Constitution. So, the continued use of the 5th December 1995 Constitution is not deliberate on the part of the current leadership so as to manipulate the vast majority of our members. In 2009, when we went to convention, a constitution review committee was established, and at that time, people like the late Oshomuda, these are the people who are charged with the responsibility. But by the time we went to the 2013 convention, people like Oshomuda died, and no work was done on that. But even in the 2015 convention, the issue of constitutionality was principal. And that is why one of the resolutions adopted was to ensure that we move forward the process of reviewing the Constitution. And in the 2017 convention, because we were all overwhelmed with the issue of flag bearer at the 2018 elections, we did not pay attention to that. But that is why it was recommended in the 9-man committee report that we should review the 5th December 1995 Constitution. The party has discontinued in constituting a constitution review committee, to which no less a person that Mr. Kanako, who is a member of the diaspora, was appointed a member. And he was not just appointed a member, several other people in the diaspora were appointed a member. And we also have now in place a monitoring committee, which is headed by no less a person than former flag bearer and many people who is charged with the responsibility to monitor the implementation and the implementation of the recommendations of the 9-man committee. So we think we are on course, we are on the right track, and we are moving towards the right direction.
Yeah, Mr. Deveaux, there were 28 other candidates, and you've just mentioned 2 or 3 of them. And it seems like, like the party is picking on low fruits, is cherry picking. In other words, the question I want to ask regarding this is, whilst the party goes through its moment of truth, trying to go through this reconciliation process, okay, apart from Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, there are equally other candidates within the party, as was proven during the elections, that at the snap of a finger, they can call on hundreds, if not millions, of Sierra Leoneans to come out from all corners of the country. Is the party willing to take on these candidates, flag bearers at the time, and bring them at the forefront? I'll say this again because you just mentioned about 3 of them, and there were 28 of them. What about the others?
Well, first of all, let me make it clear to you that one of the concerns being forwarded by the vice president of the party is that you must have fixed criteria as to who is eligible to come forward for the position of flag bearer.
Right. Because
there were no fixed criteria, then obviously the flag bearer list for the 2018 election was open to every third week and alley. And you will agree with me that some people ventured into the list, they don't have any constituency, they are not even known or recognized in their ward of constituency. But they jumped into the list because there were no defined conditions as for whom is eligible to get into the race. But that's what we study. We respect their intention because it is the fundamental right of every member of the party to vie to be elected for any position in the party. So what we are saying now is
so Dr. Samora was the best choice in terms of what you've just articulated.
No, I have never said so. Remember, I told you. to me. I told you that according to the, I told you earlier that according to the 9-man committee study, all of the flag bearers asked SNAC to choose from among them. Even when they were given the opportunity to choose from among themselves, they relegated that opportunity to NAC. And it was NAC that actually relegated that responsibility also to the national chairman and leader. So, I am not sure whether Dr. Samuel Kamara was the best choice or the right choice. The fact I am making is that all of these flag bearers had the opportunity to choose from among themselves. But probably because of ego or because of pride, none of them had wanted to step down for the other. And that is not the APC spirit. And that could be a crucial reason why we end up where we are now. So therefore, people are now clamoring that people should establish conditions as to who is eligible to become a flag bearer in the party.
Okay, Mr. Deveaux, I wasn't saying that you said that, after you spoke about the 6 criteria and all of the explanations around it, it was more of a question like having they met the 6 criteria. So what we ended up with, or the best choice, was Dr. Samora. But that's clearly understood, sir. Thank you very much. In terms of media, the position that APC stands in now, information is critical. Do you have a formidable media machine? Because when you were in government, you appear not to have. That can be, debunked. Maybe that's just my assertion, but you appear not to. But now that you are in opposition, understanding the significance of media, sir, do you have a formidable media to counter, to take on, to propagate whatever you might like to get out there to the people?
We will endeavor to do our best. But media strategies are not something one discusses in public. But I want to assure my listeners that we will endeavor to do our best. And should any of them think that there is a shortfall, then definitely let them get on to me. But we will endeavor to do our best, and I will restrain myself from discussing our media strategy in public.
I know you spoke on the periphery of it earlier on in this conversation, but let me be direct. Any optimism for 2023, sir?
We are very much optimistic, especially when we consider that, the winning was questionable, and that even in its questionable nature, the SLPP won with less than about 1%, of the total vote cast, and we are very much confident that quite a good number of people who launched and voted for the SLPP during the elections to say that Solomon Oshidoya because Andrew Boku have now come to the terms that, we are more unclear than we were during the era of the APC, especially when you consider that the prices of essential commodities continue to skyrocket to an extent that what 5,000 euros would offer you during the APC time, it cannot offer you now. And also, we have seen the government engaging with the IMF under its extended credit facility, which imposes conditionalities such as removing, subventions, subsidies on rice, energy, flour, etc. And we have also seen that there has been a drastic reduction in the number of foreign direct investment into this country. We have seen businesses in Sierra Leone closing down and moving to neighboring countries as a result of excessive taxes. And definitely, if you move around town now, people are saying that it will have been better we postpone Christmas in 2023 because this is the first time that Sierra Leone is experiencing a Christmas that has not reflected on the lives of ordinary people. To an extent that people are saying that the Christmas we celebrated during the Ebola time is far better than Christmas. And obviously, if you call your relative, they will tell you that indeed Christmas and
Yes, on this note, we would like to end. It was a brilliant interview, and we will end on this highlight, which is under the APC government, Christmas, as we will observe it at this particular period, was brilliant as opposed to this period. Mr. Yes, sir. Yeah, Mr. Deveaux, we would like for you to come.
And I want to thank you for finding better words to describe it.
Yes, certainly, sir. We would like for you to come back because during the course of this interview or conversation, as I would like to call it, there were many requests, and even before we came live, for us to have a one-to-one, in other words, a question, a Q&A answer period. But we will organize it.
Yeah, I wrote this also, but unfortunately, I am using mobile data.
Yeah, that's.
I am not at home where I could have used my. Well, some people call it Wi-Fi, some people call it VC, I don't know how you call it over there. But then that could have given me more impetus in engaging in a video call where I would have been able to entertain one-on-one calls and people that would be able to see me vis-a-vis.
Absolutely, sir. You're absolutely right. And you will have been in a position as well to understand the feel of the people of Sierra Leoneans in the global community, because we've had people, here from Australia, Canada, the United States, and here in the wider Europe. But notwithstanding, it's been a brilliant, brilliant interview, and we will have you again. We will organize it properly so that we can have this question and answer where people will pose the question to you and you'll be able to answer. Definitely, I promise you we'll organize that. But on this note, Mr. Deveaux, I want to say a very big thank you to you for taking time off your official duties, in the sense of you being the All People's Congress National Publicity Secretary. There's so much to do. There's so much going on at this particular time. And notwithstanding, you've addressed the issues and it's left with the public because they are the ones going to adjudicate on this. On this note, Mr. Cornelius Oguntola Melvin Deveaux, thank you very much, sir. And I wish the country a Merry Christmas, both to you, your family, and your party. Thank you very much, sir.
And thank you for having me online.
Yeah, thank you. And good night, sir. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, Sierra Leoneans, we've come to the end of this session of a one-to-one with the organizing secretary. The organizing secretary of the All. I was just getting a call coming in at the end of the program. The organizing secretary of the All People's Congress, the National Publicity Secretary to be exact. And this was an interesting interview. You need to listen to this again, ladies and gentlemen. I will appeal to you because this was critical. There were many things that he said that are critical in the nature of with politics, with economics, and with social strata activities, both within and without. Again, I appeal to you, you are listening. Go back again and listen to this interview. This is critical. We took on issues regarding the December 8th outing, where the APC tried for resolved issues. We took on issues pertaining to the ACC, in which there were very telling things that the gentleman said regarding the Anti-Corruption Commission, its commissioner, the way forward, and how APC decide or intend for address the issue. And we talk on many issues to seem disgruntled party officials, former flag bearers, and the rest. Very, very important interview or conversation. On this note, again, we end. But just before I go away, on the 29th of December, we are going to be having here, me and my co-host, Mr. Bangali Dauda Mansari, 2018, the year in retrospect, in quote, then and now. So we're going to look at where we started from last December to this December, Usawideso, the highlights, all of it. We hope say you go join we in that endeavor day. And I also want to use this occasion for tell everybody thank you. We go attend with 1 year celebration. The weather being disturbed, but notwithstanding, the service, the attendance was quality. And together we get for take this project forward. Many thanks to all of them when they will attend. There are a few pictures online, including Miss Pichwa Agi. So please watch out for that. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, this channel, then and now, they wish every one of you a happy